Hi there, we're at Longfest and I'm with Mark Pentleton,
Bonjour tout le monde.
voila, of Coffee Break, Spanish, French, Italian, how many languages?
Spanish, French, Italian, German, and Mandarin.
Okay, one of the advantages, and we're going to talk a bit about Longfest, we have the Longfest logo behind us. One of the exciting things here is not only to meet keen language learners and polyglots, but also to meet people who, like us, are providing services and features and learning tools for language learners. So, Mark, what I would like to do first of all is ask you about sort of your impressions of this meeting and what it gives you and what you think it gives other people, and then we'll get into coffee break languages.
Fantastic.
All right,
Yeah.
so tell me, what has been your impression of this conference?
It's been fantastic to be with like-minded people. I've always considered myself a little bit of a language geek, and certainly growing up, I think I was probably the only language geek in my school and so on. But suddenly finding myself with people with whom I can compare my love for certain textbooks over others, the font that is used in certain textbooks and everything like that, at a really granular level, has been really good fun. I think everyone who is here is so open to all languages and to sharing a love of languages and to practicing the languages.
Absolutely. Which languages do you speak?
I've
heard you're excellent French and Italian, I think.
I always kind of say that it depends on your definition of speak. I'm fairly confident in French, Spanish, Italian, to a lesser extent in Portuguese, German, Norwegian, and a couple of others.
Oh, okay. Now, tell us a little bit about Coffee Break Languages and how you got into it.
Okay, Coffee Break Languages was born in 2006, and basically it was born out of working with adult learners, and adult learners very often telling me that they didn't have time to learn a language. And for me, I wanted to take that question and turn it around and say, well, what can I do to help people learn a language in the time that they do have? Because I think we all have time in our lives that we're perhaps doing other things that we could be learning a language while we're doing those other things.
Right.
I'm thinking of things like in the car or at the gym or walking the dog or doing the dishes or whatever happens to be the thing. And I'm not saying you use every moment of your life, your spare time, your downtime to learn a language, but I think there are times that we could use for language learning that we perhaps waste. And so back in 2006, we started developing Coffee Break Spanish as a resource that would allow people to use those 20-minute sessions that they may have constructively for learning a language. And since then, we've developed courses from an A1 level up to almost C1 in French and Spanish. And with Italian and German, we've got 2 levels, and we just introduced Mandarin this year.
Oh, okay. You know, I should say that when I go to learn a language, typically I use a variety of resources. And I end up liking some better than others. For example, for my recent efforts at Hebrew and Greek, I bought Living Language, which I have to confess I found not very good at all. But we do use different resources. And there are people who come to Link and they say, well, there's no explanation and I don't understand the grammar and so forth and so on. And so I think there is definitely, not only with Coffee Break Languages, but with the other services that are out there, there's always an element of a sort of complementary relationship. And so I think in that sense, people who come to Link, I could see people spending some time with a resource like yours, or a Pimsleur, or a Michel Thomas, and I think to the extent that I'm familiar with your product, there's more explanation, there's more English. It's an easing into. You're sitting in the car. It's not like solid target language, and you don't know what they're talking about. So to that extent, it's a kind of an easing into, say, Link, which is pure target language.
I think I firmly believe there is space for everyone in the business, and I think anyone using only one resource for learning a language is crazy, because you do need those different resources. I mean, I'm all about the concept of coffee break learning and being able to do something for 20 minutes, but equally you could spend an hour doing lessons. Or indeed, if you've only got the 5 minutes while you're waiting for a bus, then you would need something else to get your kind of espresso break.
Right.
And in that situation, whether it's Link, whether it's getting an app or something like that, that's filling that downtime with an opportunity to practice what you've learned, to consolidate what you've learned in a different way, and getting different input, and then practicing that with the output that you're using.
Absolutely, and I think too that variety. I think I have mentioned in my videos the German neuroscientist who said that the brain requires novelty and repetition, and I think variety introduces. That's kind of a way to get the same content from different sources and different methods, so you don't end up feeling frustrated that you're always doing the same thing. So I think we're going to see whether there aren't some ways that we can introduce some complementarity. Anyway, thank you for the interview.
Not at all.
And I think it's a real treat because a lot of my listeners are not native speakers of English, and I think it's the first time we've had some good Scottish English here. So if there's any questions or people who require a transcript, please let me know.
I'd be delighted to provide whatever you need.
Thank you for listening.
All the best.